They were the perfect couple in the perfect neighborhood. Until the LAPD made a deadly mistake. In the heart of Encino, California, behind high walls and a pristine gate, Robin Kaye, a beloved American Idol executive, and her husband Thomas DeLuca were living what many call the Hollywood dream. But just days after reporting growing fears about crime in their neighborhood, both were found shot to death inside their multi-million-dollar home. And what happened next shocked the nation. This isn't just a story about a double homicide. It's a chilling example of how law enforcement failed two innocent people. Even after neighbors called 911, even after a helicopter was dispatched, even after officers were right outside their door. And yet they left. Now the question haunting Los Angeles is, how did someone so dangerous slip through the cracks when the victims had already asked for help? Welcome to my channel, where we uncover the most shocking, emotional, and true crime cases gripping America and the world. If you're passionate about real justice, raw storytelling, and unraveling the truth behind headlines the media barely explains, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. There's more coming, because tonight, we're diving deep into the Encino double murder that has rocked Hollywood, shattered a quiet neighborhood, and exposed a tragic failure in how our system protects the innocent. And it all began in a beautiful home on Donna Pedgeta Drive. Encino, California, July 2025. Behind the quiet hum of garden sprinklers and the shade of jacaranda trees, a two-story estate on Donna Pedgeta Drive stood like any other home in the neighborhood, gated, private, and peaceful. But inside that home lived a couple whose lives were anything but ordinary. Robin Kaye, a celebrated music supervisor for American Idol, had spent over a decade helping sculpt the show's iconic sound. Her husband, Thomas DeLuca, was her quiet strength, calm, analytical, always protective. The pair shared a love for quiet evenings, dinner parties with close friends, and walks through their serene neighborhood. But over the past few weeks, their peace had been disrupted. Strange shadows in the backyard, an attempted break-in months earlier, their alarm system still awaiting upgrades. And just one day before their deaths, the couple met with police to report growing fears about criminal activity near their home. They were worried, and they weren't wrong to be. But when the intruder finally came, the system they trusted failed them completely. A neighbor spots a man hopping the fence and makes a desperate 911 call. But the LAPD's response would become the story's darkest chapter. A neighbor saw him, a young man, skinny build, erratic, jumping the back fence of Robin and Thomas's home. They dialed 911 immediately. Within minutes, an LAPD helicopter circled overhead. Squad cars pulled up to the gate. Officers peered through the walls, watched the cameras, and called it in, but with no obvious signs of forced entry. No shattered glass, no alarm tripped. They made a decision that would haunt them. They left. No entry was made. No knock on the door. No search. Inside, 22-year-old Raymond Bedarian, a neighbor with a history of mental instability and prior arrests, had already entered through an unlocked sliding door. Detectives later estimated he waited inside the house for nearly 30 minutes, in complete silence. Robin and Thomas had no idea. They walked into their home that evening as they always did, carrying bags, keys in hand, unaware of the horror waiting for them inside. For days would pass before anyone learned the truth of what happened behind those walls. And by then, it was far too late. The silence was the first red flag. Robin missed a studio check-in. Thomas failed to return texts from family. Neither showed up for their usual weekend dinner with close friends. Calls went unanswered. Lights stayed off. A dog barked endlessly inside the home. It wasn't until July 14th, for full days after the 911 call, that a welfare check was requested by a concerned relative. This time, officers entered. They broke a window and climbed inside. What they found was a scene of calculated brutality. Robin lay in the pantry, shot multiple times. Thomas was in the bathroom, also riddled with gunfire. Both appeared to have been ambushed, and neither showed signs of defensive struggle. The alarm system was never activated. The back door still unlocked. A double murder, in broad daylight, in a home the police had visited only days before. As investigators searched for answers, they uncovered a face on the surveillance footage, and it wasn't a stranger. In the days that followed, the LAPD combed through every second of available surveillance footage. Then they saw him, a male figure hopping the fence, matching the neighbor's July 10th description. His face was partially obscured, but through facial recognition software and neighborhood interviews, they made a chilling identification. Raymond Badarian, age 22, a neighbor, someone who lived just steps away. He had a history, a dismissed battery case, previous arrests involving threats, and in 2024 had been declared mentally unfit to stand trial. Court records show he was placed under conservatorship, monitored for erratic behavior, and known in the neighborhood as someone to keep an eye on. But no one imagined he could do this. On July 15th, LAPD arrested Badarian without incident. He didn't resist, didn't hide, didn't speak. And that wasn't the only thing investigators discovered about his connection to Robin and Thomas. Months earlier, the couple had already experienced a brush with danger, and this one may have involved the same man. In May 2024, Robin and Thomas had already called the police once before. Their home had been targeted in an attempted break-in, shattered lights, tampered cameras, and signs someone had tried to climb their back wall. They filed a report, but the case went nowhere. In the months that followed, they discussed installing new alarms, upgrading security, maybe even relocating. But with work deadlines and a comfortable neighborhood they'd called home for years, they stayed. Then, just one day before the murders, they had another meeting with police. This time, it wasn't about their home. It was about a break-in at a neighbor's house. They were worried. Something wasn't right. Robin said it aloud. It feels like someone's casing the block. But even that second encounter didn't raise alarm bells within the department. No patrol increase. No warning sent to the community. And just 24 hours later, Robin and Thomas were dead. The pressure on the Los Angeles Police Department was immediate and intense. As the public learned that officers had been outside the home and left, outrage ignited across the city. Critics questioned every decision, from the initial call response to the lack of a thorough perimeter check. For many, it felt like the LAPD had ignored a clear and present danger, and that Robin Kaye and Thomas DeLuca paid the price. In an official statement, the department defended its actions, citing protocol and a lack of visible signs of forced entry. But as media scrutiny intensified, their silence only fueled more anger. Why didn't they enter the home? Why was a wellness check so poorly executed, especially after multiple calls? Inside the department, tension mounted. Officers were reportedly devastated by the outcome, and internal reviews were launched. But for grieving friends, fans, and an infuriated public, it wasn't enough, because soon a key LAPD voice would step forward, and what he said would change everything.
The motive is unknown. We're still looking into whether he has any type of relationship with the victims. Right now, it is an apparent random attack. The house did not appear to be ransacked, so we're looking into multiple avenues on what the motive may be there. The motive may not have been theft, but the motive could also have been random, based on what we know so far, but it's very preliminary at this time. No weapon recovered at this time, but we suspect it's a handgun was involved. Yeah, so once again, we're focused solely on the homicide. Any other further information on past calls for service, The LAPD will look into that. Right now, it's just too early in the investigation for me to go over that stuff. Nothing much other than he's a 22-year-old male who does not reside in this neighborhood in particular, and at this time we don't have any connection between he and the victims. He was known to police in a sense that he has a prior criminal history, but I'm not going to go into detail about what that is. Just blood evidence being along the porch. Yes. At this time in the investigation, there's no interior camera footage. When I say violent, I mean the victims were ruthlessly shot multiple times. No, that's it. That's my definition of a violent struggle. The actual murder scene was quite contained in the house. Yeah, again, I'm not going to speak to particular on police policies and procedures. I'm just here for the homicide, but I can say the department will look into that response and deem if there is any sort of misconduct there, they will launch an internal investigation. Yeah, no, when I say struggle, I'm saying that the suspect was already inside the residence when the homeowners arrived, and at that point there was a violent confrontation that ensued. I don't know if, the sequence of events at this time. We'll make an attempt to interview the suspect to see if he gives us some light into what actually happened there, but right now we don't have any surveillance video evidence on the inside of the house. We just have the immediate crime scene there and the exterior videos. No audio from my knowledge. Yeah, I don't have that information for you right now. I'm sorry. It's multiple gunshot wounds throughout their bodies. No, we arrested him without incident. At the time of the incident? Unknown at the time of the incident, does not appear to be so at the time of the arrest. At this time, no statements have been made. That's correct. I would say all over the place. I don't know if they were both shot in the head, but all over their upper bodies. That's correct. They do have next of kin. They've been notified, and there are family members who have taken custody of the home. I'm sorry. He does not appear to be injured, and again, he was taken into custody without incident. But unless we get a statement from him, we'll still try to figure that information out. But he does not appear to be injured. Yeah, it was all video surveillance and some forensic evidence that we had expedited. That's how we were able to identify him. So if you can see the residence, there's a lot of exterior surveillance cameras, very good quality cameras. That's some of the techniques we use to identify people based off surveillance video. Yes. He jumped over the same wall. Yes. We were looking for a weapon, that's correct. At this time, we do not have the weapon in our custody. Unknown at this time, we have more canvassing to do. Again, it's been 24 hours. We got him in custody. That was our priority. And now that he's in custody, we're going to continue to canvass, talk to witnesses, and look for other surveillance video to see in which direction he did flee, whether that's on foot or in a vehicle. It does not appear to be so. Again, prelim info only, but for right now, he doesn't appear to be a part of any type of burglary ring. No spontaneous statements were made. Yeah, Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N-D, Budarian, B as in boy, O-O, D as in David, A-R-I-N as in Nora.
It's the same suspect that broke in the house 4 days ago?
So this is the suspect from July 10th. Yes. Thank you.
On August 20th, 2025, Raymond Budarian will stand before a judge. He faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of residential burglary, and special circumstances involving a firearm. If convicted, he faces life without parole or even the death penalty. But for the families of Robin Kaye and Thomas DeLuca, the trial won't bring closure. No sentence can rewind the choices made that week. No verdict can undo the silence of 4 days. And no justice can answer the question now burned into Los Angeles. If LAPD had entered that home, would Robin and Thomas still be alive today? Their home is now empty. Their legacy, a haunting reminder that even in gated neighborhoods, surrounded by cameras and calm, danger can still climb the fence.